Hello YouTube! This is Patrick Connell giving your movie review. Tonight's movie review is going to be on a movie that I just saw recently. Now for those of you who have seen the first Paranormal Activity and haven't seen the second one yet, go see it. I'm saying it's not a really big waste of your money at all. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the first one, it's really not going to affect you whether or not you see the first one. See the second one. It gives in all the fill-ins. If you see the second one, then you see the first one. The first one just is like an extended version of what goes on more towards the middle of the movie of the second one. It's a continuation of the story. It really doesn't matter if you see one or the other. The basic plot is, of course, for those of you who have seen the first one, and I'm not sure if I should scream spoiler alert, but spoiler alert just in case. For those of you who have seen the first one, you all know the plot. Katie and Micah Sloan have gotten a first starter house, which if you look around the house, there's no way that's a starter house. A starter house is like a trailer. Anyways, I'm just saying that's a really nice house. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so they move into a house, right? Everything's right, everything's perfect, and everything starts off from the very first night. We start hearing weird noises, footsteps, and of course the sound of keys dropping to the floor. That's where it all begins. And as each night goes on, the activity gets progressively worse and louder until it actually gets to the points where Katie is being possessed. They bring in a psychic, he doesn't want to do shit, psychic, go away. So, in the continuation, Paranormal Activity 2, it's a whole new family. Actually, it's the family of Katie's sister, because in the first one, she kind of... yeah. Anyways, good thing I said spoiler alert. These are a lot of spoilers. In the second one, it's basically Katie's older or younger... I can't remember which one. Katie's sister and her husband getting their life started together. They've had a new baby named Hunter, and even the dog gets in on this. That's the good part. Like, even the dog should be given an Oscar for this movie. Apparently, the entity or demon or whatever did not start out with Katie. No, it started out with Katie's sister, and then eventually moved on to Katie because they moved it out of Katie's sister's body, yada yada yada. And overall, it's just a really, really, really good storyline. Now, for those of you who say that, pardon me, I've got a lot of gas. For those of you who say that Paranormal Activity 2 was not as good as the first, that's because when a sequel rolls out, you're kind of expecting the same tricks to be pulled, but in a different manner. So you're already expecting it, so you're not going to get the same scare effect. When people saw the first Paranormal Activity, oh my god, people, at least when I went to go see it, men were walking up out of their seats in the middle of the movie with pissed pants. That's how scary this thing was, because we weren't sure at the time if it was real or not. We just knew, like, okay, it's some guy walking around with a camera, and it looks like this shit's actually happening. So, if you're kind of expecting the same thing. The first one had much more of a surprise. It had the element of surprise on its side. That's what the second one didn't have. It didn't have that. It had scenes where tension built up, and you knew something was going to happen, but that's it. You knew something was going to happen. It didn't have something that the first one had. Once again, the element of surprise. But I have done my research. I have checked Wikipedia. I've checked Movie Blogger, everything. I've checked the entire freaking internet. They are working on a continuation. They're working on a third one. There's a lot of brainstorms and rumors going around that it could continue on with the daughter. I think it's Katie's niece or something. Yes, Katie's niece going out to find Katie and her younger brother, who Katie ends up, spoiler alert, who Katie ends up kidnapping at the end of the second movie, due to a bargain made from generations past that if the bargain was not fulfilled, then said demon would end up getting the life of a firstborn son later on, and that wasn't fulfilled back then, so now the demons come back to wreak havoc on the family. Yeah, that's where the story plot completely goes out of whack. But it gives reason, and that's what I like about it. There's actually logic behind it. Where if you look at most of the cases of the supernatural today, it's just, boo, I'm a ghost, I'm here to scare the shit out of you. So yeah, number 3 is on its way, probably sometime in 2012. I'm not sure, maybe even as soon as this upcoming Halloween. All we can do is look, keep our eyes peeled. All I can say is I'm definitely going to see the third one. Super psyched about it. I don't know how scary it's going to be because I don't know what new tricks they're going to pull. I don't know if they're going to be good angles or bad angles because I've seen the first one, I've seen the second one. I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a mix of the both in the third one, but I don't know. That's really all there is to cover on Paranormal Activity 1 and 2. 3's coming out soon. I'm pretty much guessing that the niece is going to be completely whacked out at this point. I mean, if you come home to your parents lying on the floor slaughtered, and it's from a school field trip nonetheless, yeah, that probably tweaks something in my head too. That's all I have to say for Paranormal Activity. Wait for number 3 to come out. Have a nice night.